Alrighty then, hey guys, welcome to another video. So, in this video, as you might guess by the title, I'm going to be giving another review on the B-Twin Triban, 500. As you noticed, or if you haven't, I have another video on this bike here where I said my opinions, and I did a review on 2,000 kilometers. Now the bike's at around 6,000. I've just ridden like, I don't know, 5,000 kilometers more on it or so. And I wanted to make a part 2 of that video because there are some other things I didn't mention in it. And yeah, let's just begin. Where to start off with is the question. So I was mentioning with the shifters, basically I'm going to tell you some of the things I don't like about the shifter, and then I'm going to tell you some of the things which are, the shifter is fine. The shifter is good, it works, it's a micro shift. Hi Ollie. Sorry, that's my cat over there. The shifter is good. I'm just going to let my cat in one second. Right, sorry about that. So, as I was saying, it's a micro shift gear, and I think it just feels fine. It feels a little toy-like, but it does the job. But one of the things is that when you're pressing the brakes, I hope it's in focus, the camera. When you're pressing the brakes, you can see here, I hope, that the shifter is slightly sticking out. I'm not sure if it's just a design flaw on this B-Twin, should I say. That's actually another thing I need to mention. But it does kind of stick out a bit, which is kind of not very nice when you're pressing the brake. Honestly, it's not that bad. I just thought it's something I'd mention. And obviously this micro shifter is not an STI, you know, it doesn't run underneath this bar tape. It goes through like this, and I'm not big fan of these cables. I really like these new shifters now where they're going inside. But luckily I have error bars on here. So when I place obviously my forearms here, it doesn't bother me when I have. Usually I would just place my forearms straight onto the bar here, but I have error bars, so that's fine. I don't mind. But that might be something you want to consider. So those are the shifters, and they've been shifting absolutely fine. Another thing I want to probably mention is maybe the wheels. The wheels have been absolutely fine. I'm really surprised that I didn't mention it in the last video, but it says here that it's actually a double wall. Hopefully you can see that. Holding the phone the wrong way. There we go. And even the tires have been fine, which is so surprising. Maybe these French roads are just good. I have no idea. The frame's been absolutely fine. I'm so surprised that if you want to see I made a video and actually a small tour with this bike. I've gone basically coast to coast through France, and I made I'll leave a link probably up here or somewhere on the video. And I was carrying a lot of weight when I did this tour. It's not very long. I think I did like a week or so. And here I had a bag, like right there, about 2 kilos I think. And then on the back I had a rear rack, and then it has like maybe 4 or 5 kilos in it or something. So it tens and all that other stuff. And the bike was fine. I'm so surprised, but the bike handles the weight rather well. You don't probably want to load it too much. Like if you weigh like, I don't know, maybe 90 kilos, and then you might want to be a bit more careful with carrying extra weight. I really don't know. I only weigh about 60, so it hadn't really made a huge difference. I was worried if it was going to damage the bearings inside here. But they've been fine. Those bearings have been absolutely fine. But yeah, like I was saying, for 300 euros, it's a pretty darn good bike. I'm really surprised. I did put new bar tape on because I wasn't so happy with the original. I wanted a different aesthetic. That's another thing. The aesthetic of the bike. This is the Triban 500, it doesn't say, but it says SC. And the thing I don't like about this bike is the design. Like, the paint it's okay, but then I don't know what they were thinking with their logo. I'm being completely honest here. I think that logo is ridiculous. I don't think it has a really cool, strange kind of sharp edges. It looks a bit toy-like in my opinion. And I don't know. I think they should have redesigned their B-Twin logo. I don't mind the name. The name's fine. But yeah, the bike just looks very... They've changed their whole design on the new one. Now they have a really sick-looking black and white Triban bike, and it looks way better, in my opinion. Because it allows for your taste to... Your personal preference and taste to fill in the gaps, to fill in the bike. Like, you can change the bar tape to red, and it would match with the black and white or something, you know? You can add your own color to it. And I think the way a bike looks is really important for the way it feels to ride and the way you feel to look. But, you know, it's Decathlon, so they do quite, you know, they have to make a lot of these specific bikes. They have to sell a lot of bulk. So I understand that the design has to be pretty, this, like, user-friendly. It has to be kind of the general consumer, like blue, for example, is a color everyone likes. Anyway, another thing I should probably mention is that the saddle, the original saddle, I still have this one on here, is pretty bad, I think. I think you probably should replace it. I really, honestly, I can't be bothered to change it because I just don't have the money. Another thing I wanted to say is that the Schwalbe Marathon Plus tires, I should have measured their dimensions on the website before I bought them, but they do not fit. The 28 mils don't fit with this bike. I can barely get this... oh, that's too close. But you can see right down there that there's not... Hopefully you can see. There's really not a lot of clearance. So 28s are basically all you're going to fit on this bike. And like I said, I'm going to use this on a different bike anyway. So I just wanted to try them, but they don't fit with these brakes. So... You know, if you wanted to, you should probably change the shifters to a nice new-looking Tiagra one without this silly cable, or a 105, or maybe even an old Tegra. Give it another paint job, and you can make it really customized to your liking. But you know, for 300 euros, I'm still surprised how well this bike has done, and I highly recommend it. Actually, it's a solid thumbs up. I just wanted to mention a couple of other things, like I was saying. And that's my part 2 video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments below. Hopefully I can answer them for you. And like I said, this is the SC model, but it's practically the same to the other models, but now the 520s... by the way, I'm talking about the model of the B-Twin bike. The 520s now don't have these shifters. They have a much better, nice-looking Sora shifter on it. I almost forgot. I wanted to mention something with the cranks, which came from a comment that I read from a guy called Bike Library TV. I think that's his name. Long story short, this guy used to work in Decathlon, which is where you can get the B-Twin bike. And he was mentioning how the bearing inside here for the cranks aren't that good. And I agree with him. They feel very... what's the word? They sound like a chain... which doesn't have enough oil. It sounds very screechy, very randomly. So for like 5 rides, I won't hear it. I can do like, I don't know, 600 Ks and I won't hear it. And then randomly on, I don't know, the 7th ride or something, it'll come back, that sound, and then it'll leave. It's very abrupt and strange, and I think it's just because, like he said, the bearing is very cheap. And maybe this one here. So you just have to take into accounting that the bike is kind of cheap. But anyway, sorry. Just like, subscribe, and that's the last thing I'm going to mention.